Hello everyone and welcome to the Historia Scale. The intent of these videos is to explain why each character has achieved the score that they've been assigned through an exploration of the character's raw potential based on their stats and capabilities, so that when you get your hands on these characters, you'll have a better idea if they will suit your team comp, or, better yet, if they're a character you want to build your team around. Also, the entire scale is not taking into account the existence of constellations, as it is very possible that you could play Genshin Impact for extended periods of time with little to no constellations. The exception to the rule here is the Travelers, as they have the only constellations in the game which are guaranteed through the storyline, making theirs realistic for comparison. Furthermore, the scale is designed to award points only where points are due. The composite score should be seen as a mosaic. It is formed up by the sum of its many smaller parts. When comparing what it is that you are looking for, you should not focus on the composite score entirely, but rather review and absorb the other metrics to get a good idea of what a character is good at. Now, without further delay, this scale is covering Klee, so let's dive in. Beginning with attack. Klee's base attack stat is 47, placing her in the top 3, earning the maximum of 6 points. For Klee's normal attacks, my test showed her as being able to produce 318 damage per second on average, again earning the maximum of 6 points here. Under charged attack, Klee produced on average a strong 698 damage, just missing the cutoff, earning 4 points. For her elemental skill Jumpy Dumpty, Klee deals a substantial 1,856 maximum potential damage, earning the maximum of 3 points. Under cooldown, she earns just 1 point, as the cooldown is a bit long at 20 seconds. It's worth noting that while she can use the ability twice, each charge will require a 20-second regeneration, with the second charge not beginning its cooldown until the first's cooldown is complete. Lastly, under Elemental Burst, Sparks and Splash deals on average 3,612 damage over its duration, earning Klee an additional 6 points. All of these scores added up earns Klee a powerful 26 out of 30 in attack. Onto durability. Klee's base defense of 48 and HP of 801 earns Klee 2 and 3 points for a total of 5 out of a possible 14 in this category. Next is utility. Klee earns 2 points in Environmental Breaker for her ability to burn thorns and also to break rock walls and materials. Under opportunity, Klee earns 1 point, as she can use her charge shots to knock enemies from cliff sides when offered the chance. For her passive, Klee highlights materials unique to the region of Mondstadt, and as such, this will seriously improve the ability to track down those Ascension materials, earning 3 points. Onto self-reliance. Klee earns 3 points in crowd control, as the mines generated by Jumpy Dumpty are able to function as something of a barrier to help you maintain spacing. Additionally, her charged attacks and overload reactions generated in the presence of electro enemies will knock enemies down. For normal attack range, Klee earns 2 points. And lastly, for buffs and debuffs, she earns 3 points as her level 70 passive will recharge 2 elemental energy whenever her charged attack results in criticals, but also for her ability to set Dendro enemies and objects ablaze. And finally, for her level 20 passive buff, which causes her charged attack to cost 0 stamina and increases its damage by 50%, which is triggered on 50% of all normals or uses of her elemental ability. For synergy, Klee earns 1 point in the reaction-based crowd control category for her ability to generate overloads at will when paired with Electro teammates. She earns 2 points in effect on other characters' skills, as both Jean and Animo Traveler can manipulate Klee's mines, resulting in increased effectiveness. For skill share, the effects of Jumpy Dumpty persist when swapping to other characters. Lastly, for buffs and debuffs, Klee earns 2 points for her level 70 passive buff again, which recharges the elemental abilities of your party, and also for her ability to set Dendro objects and enemies ablaze. All points in utility tallied up gives Klee a score of 20 out of a possible 30 in utility. Finally, onto reactions. Klee as a mage earns 3 points in each of the 3 reaction categories of Vaporize, Overload, and Melt. And for her reaction area of effect, her normal attacks launch ahead and explode on target, dealing modest splash damage, earning 2 points. Her charged attack earns the max of 4 points in this category as well, as it deals damage in a deceptively large 360-degree radius on target. For her elemental skill, she earns again the max of 5 points in this category, as you can place Jumpy Dumpty strategically, and it will disperse mines over a wide area. And lastly, for Sparks and Splash, the ability causes explosions on all targets struck, causing AoE pyro damage to all enemies which are targeted by this skill for the max of 5 points. All of these added up earns Klee a strong score of 25 out of the possible 26 in reactions. Lastly, all metrics together result in a final composite score of 76. Here you can see where Klee stacks up against the rest of the roster. Klee, like the other mages of the roster, is squishy and is easily dispatched, but she does have a great toolkit which helps her to maintain space when it is needed. In addition to that, she has the potential to produce some of the largest overall output numbers from the entire roster. It is recommended to build Klee as a primary or secondary DPS for your party, utilizing attack, critical rate, and critical damage. This should ensure her attacks are as effective as possible, but also leans into her passive at level 70, which will result in Klee acting as a consistent battery recharger for your other characters' elemental bursts. As a final note in this video, it was pointed out to me that the Mona scale video missed one detail in regard to her elemental burst. Stellaris Phantasm leaves behind a 4.5 second debuff, known as an Omen, which increases the damage inflicted upon an enemy after the initial bubble is popped. This results in 1 point in buffs and debuffs in both the self-reliance and synergy categories, as the effect is also able to be utilized after swapping characters. This raises Mona's score to a new total of 76, which effectively puts her in a composite score tie with Klee. But in this event, the tiebreaker goes to the character with the higher attack score, and as such, Klee prevails and takes the number 2 spot. With that, I've reached the end of all I have to discuss in this installment of the Historia Scale. I hope you found it to be useful. If you've noticed something that you think I've left out, please let me know, and I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you, and even issue a correction to the scale if necessary. Finally, if you did find this video to be useful, please think about leaving a like. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you're notified when my next video goes live. Thanks for watching Teyvat Historia. May the 7 guide you, travelers.